Welcome everyone to today's webinar on Prospero financial reporting and budgeting. I am going to focus on budgeting with you today, but before I dive into the product, I have a few slides in PowerPoint I'll jump through with you for some high-level details about Prospero and a little bit about our company as well. So our company is titled MSX Group. We all started this company back in 2009. We were all formerly with Microsoft, handling financial reporting and budgeting software solutions that Microsoft had for its legacy products. And we quickly built Prospero as a replacement for those legacy products because we knew Microsoft was going to discontinue development and support of those products, namely Management Reporter, Forecaster, and FRX. We rolled out Prospero with financial reporting first and then added budgeting to it later. So we have an all-in-one solution for budgeting and financial reporting as Prospero. If you need me after today's webinar, email is the best way to get in touch with me at noah.moosley@msxgroup.com. That's on the lower right-hand side of your screen. If you have any questions as I go through today's topics, feel free to use that GoToWebinar control panel on the right-hand side of your screen. I'll try to watch that as I go through the session today. Reporting inside Prospero. Prospero is very tailored for your reporting purposes. It's really intended for your financial statements, your income statements, balance sheet statements, cash flow statements, trial balance statements, and any other kind of supporting schedule you want to pull together from your GL data. With all those reports, we can also include account and transaction level details. So if you drill down on the reports, you can see the exact account number combinations, all those balances are posted to, and drill down further to the transactions that make up those balances. And all the reports that we have in Prospero also come with built-in dynamic charts and graphs, so that any report that you build inside Prospero, you can look at it as a numeric layout, as well as in charts and graphs. And the dynamic part of it is that those charts and graphs are not just static pictures or representations of the numbers. You can still double click and manipulate the data in the charts and graphs, drill down and summarize that data as well. For budgeting inside Prospero, which is a big topic going into next year, we have spreadsheet style user input screens in Prospero. So if you are currently budgeting in, say, spreadsheets, it's an easy transition for your budgeters to go from Excel budgeting to Prospero. It's rows and columns. It looks like a spreadsheet, but I do want to point out that it is not Excel based. This is all inside Prospero, storing everything into a SQL database in the back end. For your budgeters, you have detailed input screens for human resources and for capital. So you can use the templates we have in Prospero to calculate all the employees and new hires, wages, taxes, and benefits. Capital, you can book new assets for the budget and project depreciation expense for those assets. We also have easy data entry options for line item details for accounts, where you can break up an account into smaller amounts, adding more rows for your details to add up to the total. Notes for any rows inside your input screens, and I love the part about instant consolidation. As soon as your budget managers click the Save button on the input screen, everything is stored inside Prospero's SQL database. It is consolidated right away based on the trees inside Prospero, and it's available for reporting on a consolidated basis. And you can right away compare those budget numbers to any other data you've got in Prospero, like last year's actuals, last year's budget, the last forecast. All that is readily available as soon as you click Save. No need to consolidate Excel templates into one. No need to import that data into another GL system to get your reports consolidated. It's all handled as soon as you click Save. A huge win for budgeters out there. And I am going to take you over to Prospero, and we're going to dive into budgeting. So let me jump over. I am using our Prospero web version, which is really identical to how things look in the desktop version of Prospero, although most of our clients nowadays are going with the web deployment. Easy to get that up and running and deployed to your users in the field. And I'm looking at the quick launch window here on the left-hand side. I've got a lot of different tiles here for reports that I would run most often. I have report collections that I might run, which like a group of reports that could all run at one time. And I want to start us off with the budget input screen for 2026. So I'll click this once. Your budget managers will have a pop-up list asking them what do they need to budget for. And for us, for this demo database, we're going to pick a company, our US company, administration for our department, Denver services for our location. And they would only have access to those combinations that they have been granted security access. This opens up the input screen for us. It's rows and columns, easy input layout for the end users here. This is the main input tab, which may be the only tab your budget managers need. They may just have this one list of columns, one list of account numbers on the left-hand side here. The gray rows are locked from inputs, so they can't change those here directly. Either they are going to be coming from other tabs like human resources or capital, or they may be locked and they are calculations here on this screen. But your budget managers, they do have easy options for entering balances, just typing in any balances here, shortcut keyboards for copy and pasting. You can always right click and copy and paste data as well. So a lot of similarities that your users would see in spreadsheets that we have right here inside Prospero as well. They can add notes to any of these rows that are available for input. And I know that a few rows already have notes because they have blue squares on the left-hand margin for a few rows here. And they can add notes to any row here they want to. So if they just right-click on any row and select annotate, the window pops up, I type in my text. And that adds a note to this row. Also puts a little blue square in the left-hand margin. And if I go to the right-hand side and annotation slides out, I can see the user ID. It's my user ID and date and password that I added that text. I can see the text itself. Anybody else who has access to this input screen can add their notes. They can see my notes. So it's a really great process for collaboration during the budget process. I just added one note there, but if I go right back to that account, that same row, I can click the add button and add as many more notes as I need to support those details. If I see on the right-hand side, that just puts the next note at the top of that panel on the right-hand side. It just lets me add to that panel on the right. So easy collaboration there. Keep in mind that they can put numbers in the notes, but that does not go into the consolidation amounts. So if they want to break down the totals, say instead of just putting in $10,000 in a individual row, they might want to break it down to smaller amounts. They can add line item details to any row here, and the budget managers can do this process themselves. They do not have to ask the budget administrator to make any changes to this template. And it will not cause any problems with consolidation at all. Thank you, Rob. Okay, so for this, for line details, if I wanted to, I can see that I've got some with line details already added, like my account 6270 for tuition reimbursement, $1,200 a month, but there's a plus icon on that left-hand margin. Click that once. It expands that row, and the green rows below the account row show me the individual line item details that a budget manager has added and the monthly balances for the separate rows. And those add up to the account at the top of that section. Now I just have 3 rows here, but they can add as many rows of line item details as they need to. So a great feature there, letting them break down the details, adding as many rows as they need to. They can change the text that shows up here, and then they type in the balances per month. So some great features there for your budget managers on the input screen. All these changes, when they click the Save button, everything is stored in Prospero's SQL database. It's all consolidated right away. It's all available for reports right away. Now, this particular list of rows and columns is great. You may set up one template, one list of accounts and calculations that every department uses, but you might need a different list of accounts and calculations for some departments. That's fine as well. If I go to the top and select Reopen Input, instead of administration, let's look at our sales department. Now, this one does have the same columns across the top when it opens up. So January through December year to date, some prior actuals for comparisons. But the list of account numbers are completely different, and the formulas are completely different. So I can see that this page here is for sales calculations. Budget managers are recording units per month, like 4,000, pretty much for every month here. And they have a price per unit for each month. And those are multiplied by each other to come up with the revenue for each month, cost of goods sold for each month, and any other related income or expense accounts. Now we are using budget accounts for this process. So units is account Z101, price per unit is Z102. Those are accounts that we set up just inside Prospero's budget process. So they do not exist in your actual GL list of accounts. They're just inside Prospero for budgeting purposes. So we can add as many accounts as we need to. It does not push anything back into your GL. These do not have to exist in your GL as stat accounts in order to use them here in the budget process. So a great example there that we have a different template for a different purpose, and you can have as many different templates in a single budget as you need to. So I'm going to close out of this tab, and I'm back to my tab what I first started with for input. Now, when we started this input screen, we looked at the main tab. We discussed all the different options for easily entering data to this page here. There's also additional tabs here for human resources and capital. These are optional tabs that they're easy to set up and easy for your budget managers to use. And if some users should not have access to these tabs, they will not even see the tabs up top for HR capital. And if they do see the tabs, they will only see their departments because we set that up in security. So let's look at human resources first. Every row here on human resources is a different employee for the company. We would have imported this from your payroll system. And we can make any changes to headcount, FTEs per month, hours per month, total for the year for allocations as FTEs or hourly. We can handle annual salary amounts, hourly pay rates, pay changes throughout the year. I have two columns here set up for one pay change, and then what period it takes effect, and then a second pay change and what period it would take effect. And you can add more if you need to. Going to the right, there are additional fields that help you calculate related expenses, such as bonuses as a percentage of their earnings or as a fixed dollar amount for each employee. Bonus period is what period that bonus gets paid out to the employees. We can handle overtime calculations, profit sharing calculations, commission related calculations, and we have benefit filters as well to help us figure out what, say, tax rates or maybe medical benefits should apply to each employee. So these benefits that you see for state health and workers' comp, they help figure out different rates for different people. And this page here would have all the existing employees for next year's budget, and they can add new hires as well. Now, all of the dollars they calculate for this detail page shows up back on the main tab in the salary section. and in the benefit and taxes section. So HR, easy setup process, easy to use for your budget managers. Everything flows back into the same budget. Capital, very similar. It's an optional tab. Here, every row is a different asset or a group of assets that your budget managers would like to purchase in the upcoming fiscal or calendar year. So we just record what is the purchase date, when do they plan to start depreciation expense, although I should change these dates, how many of these items that they plan to purchase, the cost per item, and Prospero will calculate the cost and book it to the cost account and project depreciation expense for these assets as well. And just like the dollar amounts that are calculated for HR, the dollar amounts calculated for capital are showing up on the main tab as well. I have a section for capital expenses, the cost amounts, and for depreciation expense as well. So a great tab there, built-in template inside Prospero, does not cost extra for the budgeting process. Easy setup, easy for your budget managers to use. Now, all this information here, once they make their changes, they go to the top, click the save icon to save this data. Everything is stored in one SQL database for Prospero. It's all consolidated and it's ready for reporting right away inside Prospero. And for comparison against any other data you've got in Prospero, like last year's budget, the last forecast, prior year's actuals, or current year's actuals. All that is available as soon as they click save. There's no export process needed. There's no import to another system needed. It's all handled right here inside Prospero for the budget input process and the consolidated reporting process. As a budget administrator, you'll have this data immediately available for review. As you go through the process, you're reviewing balances. There's also an easy way to check for history for any of these items up top. So if I go to history, Prospero will let you track changes to any dollar amounts here. It will record the account number that was affected, the user ID that made the change, the date and time that data was changed, and the balances. So history, great piece to track down changes to the budget process for any accounts for the main tab. All right, great options there for handling the budget process. And you can have as many versions of the budget as you need to. And once you finish your original budget, you can lock it down so that nobody can change it. It's just read-only at some point. So easy to handle, control over those balances, lock down the changes to those balances. And if you want to use this data here that we've entered for the original budget as a starting place for the forecast, that's an easy process as well. If I go to Tools and then Copy Plan, on this one window on the left-hand side, I can tell Prospero where I'm copying from. 26 budget. That is all going into our original budget for the year 2026. And on the right-hand side, I'm going to copy everything to my forecast version. For my forecast book code, same year, 2026, and then I have check boxes at the bottom of what data I want to copy from the original budget to the new forecast. I can easily copy all my account balances, all the details for HR, custom input if you have anything set up to handle like revenue and sales and cost of goods sold calculations, line item details, and capital details. All that, when I click copy, it's a really quick process, copies everything over from the original budget into the new forecast version. And as you go from one year to the next, it gets easier and easier. Like when you do budget 2027, you can use that same copy plan to copy everything from budget 26, 27 if you want. They are from the last forecast to 27. Your templates are already out there. You just change the year references and you are ready to go. Reporting on this data. Easy process inside of Prospero as well, because once they click save, everything's in SQL, everything is consolidated, and everything is ready for reporting. And when I look at the reporting here for budget, the same thing applies to reporting against your actuals as well. So the same list of reports you have for budgeting can be used for your actuals as well inside Prospero. Now, if I go to the left and open my left-hand navigation panel, I can see I've got a list of all my reports out here. I've got my detail reports. Let me mention my detail reports for you for budgeting. You have capital detail options, HR detail options, line item detail options. So when you are doing the budget process, you know, we have the HR tab, you have all the different employees, you have the capital tab, all the different assets. On the main tab, you have dollar amounts, but it's not by person or by asset. So those handy detail reports, I go to HR detail, right click and run this report. I'm going to run it for the whole company, by region, all departments for the year. That goes out, pulls everything together for us. It's going to show us the accounts relating to the HR calculations and the dollar amounts as well. And these are set to automatically expand and show us all the dollar amounts that are calculated for each individual employee. So a great way to get all those dollar amounts broken down at the employee level. Same thing applies for capital. If I right click on the capital detail report, select run, I'll leave all these settings as they are and click OK to process it. This goes out, pulls everything together from the original budget. It'll show me the assets, and it will also it can show me the details expanding beneath each one of these dollar amount rows. And let's look at line item detail options too. If I go to line item detail, right click and run this one. Keep all these settings as they are. This shows me my line item details that anybody in the budget process would have added for any accounts on that main input tab. So I can see like tuition. It's got 3 rows added to it. The account 6270. I've got some entries for account 7225 or paper, or computers, ink, and their dollar amounts. If I just wanted to see one page for all tuition, I could reopen this report just for account 6270. Nope, sorry. Go back to this report. 6270 for the account. Okay, so I can see that just on one page. I can just filter it by individual accounts or by any of your other segments or dimensions from your chart of accounts, departments, locations, anything else you're tracking, to get those details more summarized, more granular. Really helps to analyze that data and see where everything is coming from. All right, so let me close out of a few tabs here. Every time you open up a new input screen or a new report, these tabs add to the top header section. You can just, but it's easy to jump back and forth between the different tabs. And if you're done with the tab, you just click the little X on that tab to close that tab, and not all the tabs. All right, let me talk a little bit about reporting for us, because that's a big piece. We do have some clients that just need the reporting piece of Prospero. They do not need the budgeting piece. They just want to use it for their financial statements, for actuals, maybe some budget comparisons. even if they do budget somewhere else. So we do have, let's use this monthly income statement as an example. I'm going to use this for our company one, actuals, all departments, and I'm using location organized by region. And I mentioned that because we have trees summarizing all of our actual balances and our budget balances in Prospero for our reporting purposes. And just to see how this total company by region tree looks, switch this to tree view. I have several trees here. This is total company by region. I'll open this up and I can see this is organized into East, South, West, and Midwest regions. If I open these up, I can see South has got 2 locations, Miami, Atlanta, that roll up into it. West has got 3 there, San Francisco, Seattle, another San Francisco that rolls up into the West region. So you set up these summary trees any which way you need inside Prospero for your organization. Really flexible. You'll use these summaries when you run reports. You can also reference these to summarize any balances and reference those balances on any lines of your reports or input screens for budget, and even in columns as well. And whatever I have highlighted here, I'll get a separate income statement for. So if I highlight South and hold the control key on the keyboard and pick West, that will give me 2 separate income statements, one for the South region balances and a separate one for the West region balances. I'm just going to go with the top level total company by region, and I'll show you drill down for that as well. Okay, we'll do OK to actually start processing this report. And I have this generating to the screen, although if you wanted this to generate directly to Excel, PDF, or the printer, that's fine as well. Here I've got a really easy income statement for us, revenue through net income at the bottom. I'm looking at actuals and budget with dollar variances and percent variance columns. If you have a very lengthy report, you've got easy navigation at the top. There's a go-to option. I click that once. I can jump directly to any header or subtotal rows in this report, right down to total expenses. You have the scroll bar on the right-hand side. You have also the top menu, the top and bottom icons. So I can jump right to the bottom of this report or all the way back to the top. So easy navigation inside Prospero. And that applies for all the reports you build in Prospero. I did mention export and print options. You can even you can still do that process after you've even run the report to the screen. You've got export to Excel, PDF, or the printer icons up top here. Now, drill down is a great feature inside Prospero, so that instead of just looking at $1.4 million in sales for actuals, I might want to see where that number came from. So if I double click anywhere on the sales row, drills down, opens up in a new tab, and shows me the individual account combinations and their balances that make up that total. So a really great way to trace down these balances, see where everything is coming from. And then you can even drill further into the transaction level details. If you have transactions here, it just shows you the begin balances and any transactions that make up the new total. So transactions are easy to include for any reports that you build inside Prospero. Now, drill down, I did that for one row at a time, which is really handy. But I do want to mention that sometimes you might not want to have to do it one row at a time. You might want to be able to see all the details on one page. It's an easy process. There's an icon up top for full account detail. Click that once. This takes that report, opens up in a new tab for us, and automatically expands every row that has account details. So total sales, all the sales accounts and their balances that make up that total. Same thing for sales returns, sales discounts, cost of goods sold, and every other row here that has account details. So full account detail view, great option to jump right past that individual row drill down. Auditors love this page, so they'll come in really handy for your auditors. Now we start off with a drill down for an individual row. It drilled down to the account level detail for that page. But I do want to say that on the drill down for individual rows, you can summarize that data by any of your segments or dimensions or anything else you're tracking in your chart of accounts. There's an icon up top that says change drill down order. Click that once. I've got account level detail at the top of this list, but let me just click and drag location to the top of that list. Now, if I go back and double click on sales, instead of getting the account level detail, it'll be summarized by location. So I can see that about 88,000 came from the South region. The West had about 346,000. Midwest had a little bit over $1 million. So a great way to summarize that data on the drill down. Help you summarize that data, get a bigger or a better picture of where it's coming from. Another great feature, charts and graphs. That comes with any report you want to set up inside Prospero. I have this report set up showing me net revenue compared to total expenses for actuals and budget. And I have that set up as a pie chart as well. So if I go to the top for display this report as a chart, this opens up in a new tab for me. I can see that I've got actuals on the left, budget on the right. If I hover over the pieces of the pie, the blue would be for net revenue. I can see it's about $1.4 million, about 77% of this total pie. The red piece of actuals is total expenses, about $420,000, about 22% of this total pie. Same thing for budget there. And these are not just static pictures here. You can double click and drill down through the pieces of these charts and graphs. So if I double click on total expenses, it takes me out here to still actuals compared to budget. The green is coming from the West region, red South. We got East region as the blue, and most of that money is coming from the Midwest region. So analyze that data with a graphical part of it is really easy done for any data you put into reports here. And the same way I changed drill down order for the numeric version, I switched from account level detail to summarizing by location, which is what we're looking at here. You can change the drill down order for charts and graphs too. So if I go back to the first page, change the drill down order, I'll take account level detail back to the top of this list. And now if I do display this chart, this will be a little cluttered when I drill down through it. But so the first page will look about like the same as the first time we did this. But now if I go to total expenses, you're going to have it broken out by all of the different accounts. It'll be very cluttered, but that's okay. We can clean it up. So I'm going to double click on total expenses. I see all the expense accounts. They're all a lot of tiny balances, but that's okay. I can go to the top under my chart options and group the smaller slices. So this will be a big help in cleaning this up. And I have it set so that anything smaller than 5% of the total pie is in this one blue section. So then I can see that most of this money comes from supplies. Well, most of the rest of the money comes from overtime. So an easy process to analyze that data, even if you're in charts and graphs, change the drill down order to give you a graphical representation and re-summarize that data by however it makes sense for your organization. All right, I am back to my report that we started off with here. I mentioned the export options. We also have a publish option I want to mention for you as well. Publishing is our way of archiving these numbers so that if I know that these numbers are good, I'm going to distribute these numbers to everybody at the office, I can publish it, which is saving these numbers as a static copy. I published it successfully. This is the same numbers I just looked at, but it is a copy. These numbers are, I still have drill down, I still have charts and graphs, but these numbers are statically stored inside Prospero SQL database. That way, even if I go by accident back into the GL and post something to a prior period, I still have these numbers that I can say that, okay, on this specific date and time, these are the numbers that I published and gave to everybody at the office. So a great feature there to see that you as a administrator can control when you release the reports out to everybody else at the company. And another thing that Publish Reports gives you is on the right-hand side, annotations. That slides out. The same way we looked at annotations on the budget input screens, same process here. I can click on any row here once, and I'll just right-click, annotate, add my notes. That adds a little blue square in that left-hand margin. If I hover over that blue square, the last note added pops up, shows me the text. And if I go to annotations on the right, I can see the text I just added, the user ID, date, and time that it was posted as well. And anybody else who has access to this published report can see my notes, and they can add their notes as well. So great online collaboration between different people. And it's really like a great example would be going through the budget process instead of having to email out questions to everybody, just say, here are the published reports. If you have any questions or if you want to ask for additional clarification on anything, just put those into the annotation section. And we have covered a lot of bells and whistles inside Prospero. There's no way we can cover them all in a 1 hour or so demo. So we're always glad to follow up with everybody at a later point for more details. But I'll mention a couple more before we jump out of here. So under the home option up top, I have catalog view. I want to mention that this list shows us all the report definitions of every row that we have available inside Prospero. Shows me also what line set these use, what column set they use. All these are sortable by any of the columns, when it was created, by who, when it was last modified by who, and last used and last published as well. So a lot of great information about all the reports you've got set up inside Prospero. These are all the definitions. And another thing is lines and columns. You can mix and match and reuse lines and columns for your report definitions. Every time you build a report definition, you have a line set telling it what is the list of accounts in that report, usually it's accounts, and a column set telling it what every column represents. I can sort it by lines of columns. I can see sorting it by columns that the first 4 reports all have the same column definition. So that lets me know that if I make any changes to this column definition, it will be reflected in all 4 of these reports. Same thing applies for line sets. I can see I have 3 reports that are using the AR line set for accounts receivable. So any changes to that line set will update those 3 reports going forward. If you can build line sets and column sets that are reused between multiple report definitions, it's a great process, even between budget input screens as well. It really helps to reduce maintenance so that you have one definition that you go change and it updates a lot of different reports all right away. Getting assistance inside Prospero for us. We are always available for everybody. And if you are in Prospero, you don't even have to go outside of your system to go look for an email account or anything. You can go to the window option. Maybe it's not window. Sorry, it's under the home tab. And then it's feedback and support. So click feedback and support. That opens up a new window for us. And you can send us any suggestions, report any issues, or start a support request. Just fill in the details here, and when you click submit, that goes to everybody at MSX Group for the support team and the development team, so it gets a lot of attention from a lot of people, and the next person available will reach out to you and help you work through it. So a great feature right inside Prospero to help you with your budgeting or financial reporting needs. And all these pages, that if you're looking at anything in particular inside Prospero, if you do F1 on the keyboard, opens up a new tab for us in the browser, and it tries to figure out where you are and take you to that topic in the help files. But you also have all these help files on the left-hand side organized under contents. They're all indexable and searchable. Great options there to help you with that reporting and budgeting piece. Also, on the left-hand side, I wanted to mention report collections. So if you wanted to run several reports at one time, you can define those reports, put them all into one report collection. Like I've got two here, graphs and month end. If I open up month end, I can see this has got 3 separate report definitions in it. So you could run these 3 separate reports individually, run the first one, go and run the next one, go and run the third one, or you come here to the report collection where they're all listed, change the date, and run the entire collection. So they all run at the same time on the server. You only have to run the collection. So a great feature there, kind of batching several reports together so they all run at one time. All right, so let's see. I do not see any questions in the question or chat section, but if you have those, I'll be glad to take those questions and chats as we wrap up today's webinar with everybody. A lot of different things we have looked at today. A lot of great features inside Prospero for budgeting and for reporting. Again, you can buy Prospero separately with just the budgeting piece, which also comes with the budget reporting. You can also buy it just for our financial reporting, which doesn't include budget input screens. So some clients do go with just one option because they don't need the other one, but you can always add the other option later too. Easy deployment for Prospero. I've been using our web version. We can host Prospero for you on our cloud servers. And we're also glad to install Prospero on any cloud server that you're currently using with any other provider. We can also install everything locally on your server. So there's a desktop version as well, and a local web browser option too. So a lot of flexibility about how to deploy Prospero. We have integrations to a lot of ERP solutions, all the Microsoft Dynamics solutions, Acumatica, Sage. We have a lot of different ones. If you are not sure if we have a connection to your ERP solution, your general ledger, email us. Just let us know and we'll look it up for you. Plus, we're always expanding. So if we haven't got one set up yet, odds are we'll be glad to work with you and build a new one. All right, a couple of points I want to leave with you before we wrap up today. What is next for you? So we are glad to set up a private demo with you, even using your data so that you can feel free to ask more questions about your current software you're using, how Prospero can help you with your data. We offer 30-day trial sites as well. So if you wanted to test out the software before you purchase it, that's fine. You don't have to make any purchase after that 30 days. There's no obligation. We'll provide you a quote, let you get some hands-on with that application for no obligation. We can also set up that free trial site using some of your data, your chart of accounts, your actual balances, your budget balances. So we'll be glad to set up some information in that trial site that really represents your data. And that way, if we do set it up using your data, your chart of accounts, it's a much easier process rolling that from the trial site database to production. And if you have questions after today's webinar, please feel free to email me. You get that at the bottom right of the screen, noah.mosley@msxgroup.com. Be glad to take any comments or questions you have. Thank you so much for joining me today. And we hope to be speaking with you again very soon. All right, everybody, have a great day.